Hi, this is Terry again. I've been asked to do another video, so this gives me some experience in production also. So what I felt I was supposed to talk about is how we tend as human beings and as Christians to compare ourselves with one another. Um, but there's something wonderful that we can enter into as far as being sort of above earthly comparisons, and then when the Lord brings you further, you can know other people by the Spirit and not have to deal with um, getting past the outward stuff. You can know more instinctively. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to read from Watchman Nee's book, The Release of the Spirit, because this paragraph goes through what I'm talking about. It says, the release of the Spirit makes it possible for us to abide increasingly in God. We touch the spirit of revelation in the Bible. Without effort, we can use our spirit to receive divine revelation. When we are witnessing or preaching, we send forth God's word through our spirit. Furthermore, we may most spontaneously contact the Spirit in others by our spirit. Whenever one speaks in our presence, we can size him up, evaluate what kind of person he is, what attitude he is taking, what sort of Christian he is, and what his need is. Our spirit can touch his spirit. And what is wonderful, others easily contact our spirit. With some, we have only met their thoughts, their emotions, or their will. After conversing with them for hours, we still have not met the real person, though we may both be Christians. The outer shell is too thick for others to touch the inner man. With the breaking of the outward man, though, the spirit begins to flow and is ever open to others. I'd have to say that what I just talked about is really only true for very, very few people right now. I go to a church, the Ithaca Vineyard, and it's mostly college students, but we know one another by the outward. I would say we go to meet, and one thing that is practiced is that we have an icebreaker, even though we talked to each other and met many times. A lot of times that icebreaker is like, what is your favorite food? What is something you've enjoyed in the past to do? So we go around and we talk about these things. But what happens is when you know someone or come to know someone by the Spirit, you don't have to go through the icebreakers anymore. You know there's a connection in the Spirit that happens, and and this for me only happens with very few people. I mean, I know this with the Lord, but as far as with people, there's very few that I really know this with. But it's something we can enter into once our outward man is broken. We learn not to judge by the flesh and by what we're wearing. And our college major, one big thing with Ithaca is what's your college major. So that's right now, at least in the Vineyard, everybody knows what this college major is. So that's another way to know them is by their major. But once you've been broken, you don't have to worry about the icebreakers. You just know instinctively by the Spirit, and you can touch by the Spirit. So I'll talk more about this, and some experiences also. So I'd like to share an experience I went through as far as probably one of my deepest testings with comparisons and not wanting to compare myself to someone else. I used to go to a community college, a local community college, and there was a campus minister who was friends with another woman, a local woman who was a Christian, and this woman is a very strong singer. She's a very good singing voice as well as a speaking voice, and she's very charismatic and very charismatic personality, and she'll just come up to you and hug you, and but God hasn't made me in a sense that way. I'm much more soft-spoken and laid-back, melancholy personality. So I've had to come to peace with who I am and how I express myself. But so what happened was this campus minister wanted to bring this woman to the campus to speak and to minister in the prophetic, and he was able to do that, and she came, and And then she spoke and she ministered prophetically afterwards. But by this point in my life, this was like 2002, so I was like, God, I'm prophetic too. Why can't I have an open door here? What to speak? This is my dream. This is my call. Why aren't the doors opening up? Is it because I'm soft-spoken? And then, you can get mad at God for the way you are. So anyway, this woman came, she spoke, and I was able to give words in secret to a few, which were received very well. So, so anyway, the campus minister went, I'd see him in the lunchroom, and he would say, wow, she's so anointed, and this woman's so anointed, and she's got a real ministry, and I'm just saying, God, I want to be known as anointed too. So anyway, the campus minister decided to bring her back a second time. So by this point, I had really been hurt by the first time. So I just came home. I just said, I'm not even going. I didn't go, and I just came home and I started crying because I was just so upset. I listened to some soaking music, like some Teresa Griffith CDs, and I just came home and I soaked, and I wept in His presence, and I said, Lord, this is my dream. I'm prophetic too, and why can't the doors open for me? So, but I, and of course I wanted to be like her. God, why can't I be like her and just have the doors fly open to minister, But anyway, I've had to, and I actually did go to talk to this man. I said, well, and he didn't even know how to respond to me. It was just a closed door. So, but I did pray about it. I said, I have to ask God, why, when is my day going to come, Lord? Why? And I felt like the Lord said to me in response that it's not you in this case, that you were supposed to ask Him about speaking, and He wasn't hearing me. He wasn't hearing me right, because the other person on the other end has to hear the same thing, but in this case, I felt the Lord saying He wasn't hearing right. So that brought me a lot of peace. I felt that was really from the Lord, and that gave me peace, but at the same time, it wasn't opening the door. So just persevere in your call, and also you need to come to grips with peace with who you are. If God, Lord's made you a certain way, a certain personality, just come to peace with that, and that'll help a lot, because I've had to come to peace with my self-image and who I am and how I present myself. I have another experience I'd like to share. This is more a recent experience. I share a lot of times that the Ithaca area relies on the outward speakers to come in and minister in the prophetic. I'm not exactly sure why, but outside prophets that come in from, say, Rochester, and they get the big invitation, and the local people are sort of sent by the wayside. But there's one speaker that Ithaca brings in a lot, and she's into like power tongues, like praying in tongues aggressively, and so she'll come in with her power tongues, and she also gets regional words and regional insights, but at the same time I do also. So she'll just come in and go with her power tongues, and then the other intercessors or other intercessors there who will go off into their power tongues. And don't compare yourself to someone who acts or ministers in a certain way, and know that your day is coming, because I've had to come to peace with this. So I'm really praying that this video helps some people to come to peace with yourself, and don't compare yourself too much with another's ministry or their personality even. Your day is going to come, and come to peace with who you are and your identity in Him.